Well, the biggest U.S. antitrust trial in 25 years is happening today. It kicks off in Washington, D.C. Google will confront a threat to its dominance as a search engine as federal regulators launch an attempt to dismantle its internet empire. For more on why, we're joined by Richard Lachman. He's an associate professor with the RTA School of Media at the Toronto Metropolitan University. Thanks so much for joining us on this today.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
So this is a long-awaited trial here. It was 3 years ago, I believe, that this antitrust lawsuit was filed. And the challenge here to Google that, that it has this unfair advantage. What do you make of this? What are you expecting to perhaps learn through all of this?
So the heart of the U.S. Justice Department's case in this is that Google engaged in anti-competitive negotiation strategies. So it's not just how the search functions. It's all the deals that they might have done to be the default search engine on your iPhone, on an Android browser, on laptops. And did that behavior shut out any other competitor from being able to get good enough and big enough? So the question isn't just, is Google a good search engine? And that's certainly Google's argument. It's the reason we have this dominant position is we are the best. What we're waiting to see, and we'll find out more, is what were the negotiations like with all of the other companies, all of the other devices and brands that we use that led to Google not just competing on the basis of how good it was, but competing on they got good fast, and then they could outspend any other rival.
Would it be, breaking the law or what have you to make that sort of a deal to say, Apple or Samsung or what have you, we want to be the default search engine on your phone. We're willing to pay for it. Is that breaking the rules?
Right. So just regular business negotiations, of course, can be. And what the government has to prove is that what they were doing was deliberately shutting out any other competitor. So it's not just that they were able to say, we want to be the number one choice, but we want to make it difficult, if not impossible, for other people to switch to other browsers. So it is possible to switch to another default browser on your phone. It's just how many levels deep, how many clicks do you have to do to make that happen? And were those kinds of conversations part of it, the interface questions and how difficult you want to make it? That's where something could move from just regular business practices into we are actively shutting out anyone from being able to compete with us.
And I mean, when you think about Apple's phones, they, I had Safari. I don't know if that is the default. Now I can't even think about how my phone showed up. It is getting old these days, but I don't recall if Safari is the default on the iPhone. But, Microsoft it tends to have some of its products front and center on its or software products on its devices as well.
Right. So that's a great question. Anyone who's tried to switch the default browser or default search engine on a Microsoft device will see how many checkboxes you have to go through and how insistent it is at trying to say, are you sure? So certainly something we're paying attention to is Google is the first of what might be other lawsuits in an anti-competitive set. So there's been a very narrow interpretation of what antitrust laws mean in the United States for a number of decades here. It's the consumer harm. And in a case like Google, who's the consumer? Because some of the argument is, well, we get Google for free. So it's not really that I'm being paid, being charged too much for something. What we're seeing now is a broadening of this to try and look at the big tech monopolies, including Microsoft, including Meta, which owns, several messaging apps. So it owns Facebook, but it also owns Instagram and WhatsApp. So really what we're paying attention to is the details of this case, but also how is the government going to go about making these arguments and what kind of penalties might they do for the future? So if they're successful in this case, we could expect to see lawsuits being brought against some of the other big American tech giants to try and maybe address the lack of competition or address the lack of features. So the other question here is not just what do we pay for something, but what features aren't we getting? Are there other arguments around privacy? Are there other arguments around business models that we might want as consumers, but we aren't able to have because in search, at least, there's one game in town.
Yeah, that is interesting. If consumer harm, if you are harmed by, that potential lack of competition, lack of choice, it might not seem like you're being harmed in the moment because you're just, you're able to search. I was going to say you're able to Google, which is what Google would want me to say, but you're able to search whatever you want to search on, on the platform that's on your device. But it isn't necessarily something that maybe the average consumer would think would equate to harm, is that, lack of availability.
That's exactly right. There's nothing illegal about having a monopoly if you're the best in town. If you're the best, great. But the question can be, are there other features, are there other approaches that we don't get? Does society not benefit because of that lack of competition? And if we can prove something. So privacy is absolutely a case where Google has a vested interest because they own the ad business as well. There are other search engines that don't make money off of ads. There's a search engine called DuckDuckGo. There are privacy-enabled browsers like Brave is one. They have different business models. They're not on both sides of this equation. So they can offer different parts of different formations around our user privacy. And are we being kept from being able to, as consumers, choose a different browser, or at least choose it easily because of Google's dominance?
It is interesting, too, that this is happening at this time, although I understand it's going to take some time for a decision to actually be made. It might not be until the new year that we actually hear what the ruling in this trial ends up being. But when you're thinking about search engines these days, it seems like Google could really have some competition going forward with artificial intelligence getting, woven into some of the other search engines.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. The next big battlefront in search will be, how does AI work? And you can see Google doing this right now. So I'm sure if you do a search, maybe a decade ago, you'd get a list of websites. Now, when you do a search, you get those websites, but at the top of the box, you get a little, a little box around it, and Google is trying to answer the question for you directly. It's not just pointing you at a website; it is directly trying to say, here is, I don't know, when an assassination happened or when World War II started. That shift is really a massive change in the business model, because think of it. If you were, let's say, you have a financial blog with ads on the side of it. I hope they pay you really well here, but let's say you have a little side hustle. The money you make is when someone clicks through and sees the ad on your blog. But when AI is answering the question, learning it from your blog, but not directing traffic to your blog, that radically changes the business models.
Right.
Google's interested in this. OpenAI is interested in this. Meta has its own search engine. And so there are a lot of radical shifts that are coming around this. And it's not a slam dunk to say Google can just switch to AI and continue to keep going. They're actually going to have to shift and change what they think about as their model, just like other new companies might have to say, how are they going to build revenue then? Who are they selling to? Are they subscription based?
Yeah.
GPT right now is subscription based. So there may be a change in how we find information rather than just ad supported search.